It's sort of in many ways deproductioning, I know that's not a word, deproductioning the material so you can hear it from a songwriter's point of view. And the raw emotional power of the songs, I think, comes through. I once was complaining about something to my friend and producer, Bjorn Thorsrud, about why this song wasn't more successful than that song. And he says, well, you've written a lot of hits, we just haven't produced them that way. And I think that's a very telling way to put it. And I oftentimes wish that more singers would sing my songs, because I think there are songs there that would be hits in the right, under the right person's umbrella, who would know how to hit that high note in a way that I can. But as a songwriter, I have a lot more confidence in what I do than I would say even as a performer. So, anybody else?
Yes. So kind of in that same vein, how's the process of the Day for Night album coming? Is that still on the horizon? Is that still something you're?
Yeah, it's no longer called Day for Night, the album. I went off that title. It seemed to have a weird cloud over it, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get traction on the album. So we listened to everything we had, and we worked on it in various stages for about 6 months. Not constantly, just like a week here, 2 weeks there. And we listened to it, and I was like, this sucks. It's whatever I need isn't here. Same thing, a lot of great ideas, but it wasn't like that. And I said, leave me alone. I locked myself up in the studio with literally nobody around. I'd occasionally call on Howard to ask his opinion. And I rewrote everything, wrote a bunch of stuff new, took some of the stuff, readapted it, and then that's the album we've been making, and I'm really, really happy with it. We just listened to it maybe 3 weeks ago without vocals and without the top overdubs. And it's as groundbreaking is the wrong word. It's as different, shocking to me as Adore was for Melancholy. And I'm talking about this. This is after making albums like Adore and Future Embrace. It's as much of a huh. And I know people are going to either gonna really love it and think this is cool. He's finally found something new after a while. And I know this other part's just going to be like, what the fuck has he done? Because there's so many people now from my generation that really are phoning it in as far as their records go. They know who their audience is, they know what their lane is, and they're just going to stick to it. But I think Monument's really proved, which I will say is a very, very high quality record, song-wise. It's produced like a Smashing Pumpkins record, generally speaking. And it didn't connect in the marketplace, because the myth that if the Pumpkins just make pumpkin music, everything will be right, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. That was not true in the 90s, and it's not true now. The only time my musical life has worked is when I'm out ahead of the pack and being great. If I'm in the middle, they don't want to deal with me. They shove me aside for the guy with the better haircut or whatever. I have to be in my own space. And this is the first time listening to this record where we're at now. It's the first time I've been in my own space probably since Adore. Or Machina. It's, whatever that period.
Right. What do you think? Any timeline for the new album or anything?
The hope is to have a first single out by the end of the year. And the album would come early, probably February, somewhere around there, which is an ideal time for the world we live in today, which is when you're going to play the festival and when you're going to blah-de-blah. It's an ideal time for us. So we're totally on schedule. We literally worked right up to the end of rehearsing for this, went right into rehearsals for this. I was still working, going between rooms. So I would work on the album and then come in the other room and rehearse. We literally worked right up until we left. I literally ran out the door. We have some issue with one of the backing tapes that we're using, because I literally ran out the door to hit the plane. Because I was so between, and Howard was helping, and blah, 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 blah. And as soon as I get off this tour, we're taking the Manson, I'm taking 1 week off, and we're going right back in and finishing the album all the way, finished, sing, overdubs, mixed, done. So it's this intense period. Anybody else?
I was wondering if you ever thought about doing like a collaboration on like an album,
Right.
With a whole bunch of friends and people from past and like newer artists. Wondering if you would ever do something like that.
Yeah, I would say, I think his question was about collaboration. I actually would say, if there's a future, every album is its own story. So let's say this album came out and it did great, then you'd have to change your thinking. But based on the current landscape, if I was going to make an album beyond this one with Smashing Pumpkins, I really think that Smashing Pumpkins would be better off in a collective frame. That it would be wise to, and I'm not saying Skrillex joins the band. But I'm saying is, and it could be people who are, you know, not obscure, but maybe not as known, and known people, and past band members, or what. It could be more of a collaborative effort. I think carrying on the Pumpkins world with just me and Jeff, it's just too much to deal with. And I don't mean logistically, it's hard to generate the excitement and the force that you need without an active band that's rehearsing, and without the laboratory aspect of being able to go out and play new material and have a fan base that really wants to hear new material at the expense of the old material. And the general audience doesn't want that. You might be different because you're here, but the general audience doesn't want that. So we're in this weird spot where we can't operate as a new rock band. This is the closest we've been in a while to operating as a new rock band. So that inability to have research and development live, to then go back in the studio and then rehearse with the band and then turn it back around. And I think after the last experience of trying to have a band, an intact band,